So next is the resolving power of a grating. Resolving power of a grating can be defined as the ability of a grating to distinctly separate two very close spectral lines. If you are having two spectral lines which are having wavelength very close to each other, that is, if one is having a wavelength of lambda and the other one is having a wavelength of lambda plus delta lambda, that is, both will be having a small difference in wavelength of delta lambda. If these two wavelengths, if they are seen as two separate spectral lines through a grating, then that power of the grating to give two distinct images of or two distinctly separate spectral lines which are very close in their wavelength is known as the resolving power of a grating. The equation for resolving power of a grating is lambda by delta lambda, or resolving power of a grating can be defined as lambda by delta lambda, where delta lambda is the difference between two wavelengths which can be resolved using a grating. That is, if you are having two wavelengths, lambda, and the other one is lambda plus delta lambda, then delta lambda will be the difference in wavelength between these two spectral lines. Then lambda divided by delta lambda, or ratio of lambda and delta lambda, gives the resolving power of a grating. So we'll see what is this according to Rayleigh's criteria. What does Rayleigh's criteria states? Rayleigh's criteria states that if the central maximum of the diffraction pattern of the first image falls over the first minimum of the other one, or vice versa, then the two spectral lines are said to be just resolved. Two spectral lines are said to be just resolved if the central maximum of the diffraction pattern of the first one should coincide with the first minimum of the other one, and vice versa. Then these two spectral lines can be seen as two distinctly separate spectral lines. So here, if you are considering lambda plus delta lambda as the first spectral line, if the central maximum corresponding to lambda plus delta lambda falls on the first minimum of the pattern formed by lambda, then these two wavelengths are said to be just resolved. Then we can say that these two wavelengths are just resolved. Now, if the condition for central maximum is d sine theta is equal, you know that for a grating, the condition for central maximum is d sine theta is equal to n lambda. D sine theta is equal to n lambda is a condition for central maximum if the wavelength of light is lambda. But here we are considering a light having wavelength lambda plus delta lambda. Then the central maximum, the equation for central maximum will be, or the condition for central maximum will be d sine theta is equal to n into lambda plus delta lambda. Lambda plus delta lambda is the wavelength of this first spectral line. Instead of lambda, you have to write here lambda plus delta lambda. So what should this central maximum coincide with? The central maximum of this one should coincide with the first minimum of the wavelength lambda. Second wavelength is lambda. So we'll see what is the condition for first minimum. The condition for first minimum is d sine theta is equal to n lambda plus lambda by n0, where n0 is the total number of lines on a grating. Capital N0 is the total number of slits of a grating. Capital N is the number of lines per unit length, and N0 is the total number of lines of the grating. The condition for first minimum is d sine theta equal to n lambda plus lambda by n0. The derivation of this equation is not needed. So you take the equation as d sine theta is equal to n lambda plus lambda by n0, where n0 is the total number of lines of the grating, is the condition for first minimum of lambda. So these two should coincide. The central maximum of this one and first minimum of this second one should coincide. That is, d sine theta equal to n into lambda plus delta lambda is equation number 1. We can compare it with equation number 2, that is d sine theta equal to n lambda plus lambda by n0. On comparing these two, we can write n into lambda plus delta lambda equal to n lambda plus lambda by n0, equating equations 1 and 2. Now here, n into lambda, here we have an n lambda term, n lambda plus n into delta lambda equal to n lambda plus lambda by n0. on both sides you have the same term n lambda, and both n lambda will cancel each other. N lambda cancel on this left hand side, lambda cancels on the right hand side. Then n into delta lambda equal to lambda by n0, or the resolving power, we know that it is equal to lambda by n0. That is, here you can take this lambda to the right hand side, delta lambda to the right hand side, that is lambda by delta lambda equal to n into n0 to this side, that is lambda by delta lambda equal to n into n0, or that is equal to resolving power. So we can say that the resolving power of a grating is equal to small n into n0. The small n is the order of diffraction. Small n is the order of diffraction. Capital N0 is the total number of lines of the grating. Then the resolving power is equal to n into n0. Small n into capital N0 is the resolving power of a grating. From this equation, you can see that if n is equal to 1, resolving power will be equal to 1 n0. If n is equal to 2, if it is for the second order, resolving power will be equal to 2 times n0. That is, resolving power doubles with the order. That is, the resolving power of a grating, since it is a product of order of diffraction and the total number of lines, we can say that resolving power is twice in the second order as compared to that in the first order. For the second order, the resolving power will be twice. For the third order, the resolving power will be thrice that of the first order. Like that, resolving power increases with the order of diffraction. Another thing is, it is also, resolving power is also directly proportional to n0. That means that if then n0 or number of lines on the grating increases, resolving power then also increases. That is, resolving power increases with increasing the total number of lines. That is, if you are using a grating with more number of rulings or more number of parallel slits, then that will give better resolving than the other one. If you increase the number of lines of a grating, the resolving power will also increase. So, the resolving power of a grating is defined as the ability of grating to distinctly separate two close by spectral lines, or resolving power is equal to lambda by delta lambda, where delta lambda is the difference in wavelength between two nearby spectral lines. And if you are considering two wavelengths, lambda and lambda plus delta lambda, the two wavelengths are said to be just resolved if the central maximum due to the first one coincides with the first minimum of the other one. On writing the condition for central maximum and first minimum, we can equate these equations, and finally we will get the resolving power as small n into n0, or resolving power is a product of order of diffraction and total number of lines. That is, resolving power increases with increase in the number of lines, and it also increases with the order of diffraction. That is resolving power of a grating. Now we have one more property, that is known as the dispersive power of a grating. Dispersive power of a grating is the change in angle of diffraction for unit change in wavelength. That is, if we know that the grating equation is sin theta is equal to nn lambda, the sin theta will be equal to n is equal to nn lambda is the equation for grating. From this you can see that with increase in wavelength, theta increases, sin theta increases, that is theta increases. Angle of diffraction increases with increase in wavelength. That means angle of diffraction is different for different wavelengths. It is not same for all the wavelengths, but it is different for different wavelengths. This change in angle of diffraction, or the ratio of change in angle of diffraction to change in wavelength, unit change in wavelength of light, is known as the dispersive power of a grating. It is the ability of, or dispersive power is the ability of a grating to make the spectral lines, or to give the spectral lines, or to reproduce the spectral lines at different angles. The angular spread given by the grating is expressed in terms of dispersive power. That is, from the grating equation we can find the dispersive power of a grating. That is, we know that grating equation is sin theta equal to nn lambda. On differentiating this equation, differential of sin theta is cos theta d theta equal to n, and n are constant. Capital N is the number of lines per unit length, small n is the order of diffraction. Then differentiating on the right hand side, n are constants into d lambda, differential of lambda. or d theta by d lambda equal to taking cos theta to the right hand side, denominator of the right hand side, d theta by d lambda is equal to nn by cos theta. This is the dispersive power of a grating. So in short, the dispersive power of a grating is nn by cos theta. That is, dispersive power also increases with the number of lines per unit length. Dispersive power increases with the order of diffraction, and it also increases with increase in angle theta or cos theta, or it is inversely proportional to cos theta. Inversely proportional to cos theta, or where theta is the angle of diffraction. So the dispersive power of a grating is d theta by d lambda is equal to nn by cos theta. It is defined as a ratio of change in angle of diffraction to change in wavelength, or it is a change in angle of diffraction for unit change in wavelength. That is known as the dispersive power of a grating. Now we'll see what are the differences between interference and diffraction. Interference and diffraction will be having different, both are the phenomena exhibited by light waves, but interference is a modification of light intensity due to the superposition of two or more coherent waves. But here, that means in interference, light should be coming from two sources, or two coherent waves will be superposing here. Two independent waves will be superposing in the case of interference. But in the case of diffraction, it is happening from a single wave with the secondary wavelets emanating from a single wave, or it is due to the uneven distribution of light intensity caused by the superposition of secondary wavelets coming from various points of a restricted wavefront. So that is a major difference. Then about the distribution pattern, there are differences. As you have observed, all the bright bands will be having same intensity in interference. You have observed Newton's ring pattern, you have observed pattern of air wedge, etc. There, all the bright bands will be having same intensity. But here, you have observed that the central maximum is having the maximum intensity, and on moving away from the central maximum, the light intensity reduces, or the maximum intensity of light lies in the central maximum. That is, bright bands are not of equal intensity. Then the third difference is in interference, minima can be zero. In Newton's ring, you have seen perfectly dark rings. In air wedge, there are perfectly dark fringes. But in the case of diffraction pattern, minima can never be equal to zero. There will be a slight amount of intensity of light in all the minimas. Then all the bands will be having same width in the case of interference, but for diffraction, the bands will be having different width. Central maximum will be having the maximum width, and width will be decreasing when the band is going away from the central band. So these are the differences between interference and diffraction. So in the case of interference, all the bands will be having same width, but for diffraction, bands will be having different width. In interference, minimas are zero. In diffraction, minimas are not equal to zero. In interference, all the bright bands will be having same intensity, but in diffraction, all the bright bands will be having different intensities. All central maximum will be having the maximum intensity. Then about the phenomenon also, interference occurs due to the superposition of two independent coherent waves, whereas diffraction occurs from the superposition of secondary wavelets coming from the various points of a restricted wavefront. So these are the differences between interference and diffraction.